But recently you also bought a gold mine. So why don't you talk a bit about that?
Well, I've been a gold bug since Vietnam. When in 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. And in 72, I was in Vietnam. And so I said, well, what is gold? So I flew behind enemy lines because the NVA had overrun the gold mine. And I went back there as a I told this a little Vietnamese woman. She was kind of the vending agent for the gold mine. And gold was flowing from $35 to $50 an ounce. So I thought because she's now behind enemy lines, I can probably get it for 40. She looked at me like I was the biggest idiot she ever met. She has little red teeth because she chews betel nuts. And two Marine pilots are standing there offering her $40 for an ounce. And she goes, spot. I said, spot? What's that? Spot. And I went, oh my God, gold is international money. Gold is money. Yeah. Gold and silver. So I took a gold mine in China public. But the reason I have no love for Chinese food anymore, as soon as it went public, the Chinese nationalized it.
They nationalized it. They took it away from you, right?
Yeah. So it was a good lesson. It's not been easy street for me. But when they took that gold mine away, I went, what are they going to do next? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so because I had all that experience, when this gold mine in Utah came up, it's a 140-year-old gold mine that's producing. It cash flows gold, 383 ounces per ton. And the reason they couldn't find it was because a real estate guy owned it. And he was going to develop this mine for something. And my partner out of Vancouver, British Columbia, went in there with new technology, says, there's so many veins of gold down here, it's incredible. So a 140-year-old mine in Utah is going public this summer. But it paid off getting screwed by the Chinese because I love Chinese food, but I have no love for the Communist Party.
Got it. But you never lost your appreciation. Yeah, you never lost your appreciation for the value of gold. I know you're a big sound money guy, and probably the Chinese experience really gave you a lesson in rule of law is really valuable when you need to count.
And my concern as a Marine pilot, I think they're going to go after Taiwan. That's the horrifying thought to me.
All right.
Which
is right now, it's a hotly debated issue, and I hope to God you're wrong. But totally understand the concern, and like I said, the risk is high enough that we should all be worrying about it. I'll put it that way. You're also investing in some living capital, and I'm thinking specifically about the cattle that you've recently invested in. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, the Fed cannot print beef. So I started. Well, the food. If they, when Biden took. I also own oil wells because when Biden took the Keystone XL pipeline off, my oil I was selling from the ground, which is a tax break also, went from $30 a barrel to $130 a barrel. Today it's like $120.
Yeah.
But I went, oh my God, this guy Biden is going to bankrupt us. I'm not saying him, but there's somebody who wants to bankrupt because oil is the lifeblood of civilization. I worked for Standard Oil of California as a tanker officer when I graduated from school. I understand oil. I was on the Alaska pipeline and all this. I'm like, he's screwing us. So when he raises inflation, the poor and middle class will go broke. And that was just done as soon as he was being done before he took office. And so I'm looking at this guy's going to sell America down the drain. I'm not saying it's him, but somebody wants us to go broke. And I'm watching this going, oh my God. So what else can so I have oil wells. I get tax breaks for those because I don't invest in oil stocks. I work for Standard Oil, but I don't invest in Standard Oil. I invest in the oil in the ground. I'm a wildcatter. Everybody says don't do it. I don't recommend it, but I like doing it. My gold mines don't do it. I like doing it. But the biggest thing of all is food. And so my friend was a school system in California. He had to run from California because he got tired of being in the People's Republic of California. So he moved to Wyoming and bought this huge ranch. And he says, oh my God, I never knew there was so much money in Wagyu cattle. I went, what? So I was up in Wyoming inspecting this Wagyu bull. And the good thing about it, it's a real Japanese Wagyu bull. There's American Wagyu bulls and Japanese Wagyu bulls. But for some reason, how brands are, Wagyu is a brand, like Ford or Chevy, Wagyu Beef. So I stood up on stage the other day. I said, well, I've always wanted to be a Japanese breeding bull, but I bought a bull instead of, nobody laughed. So every time that bull has sex, you know what I'm talking about, a breeding bull.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. He's out there making more cows like him. Yeah.
you had cattle too, didn't you?
Briefly, yes. I was a
Yes.
co-owner in a cattle CSA. Yes.
Yeah. So I don't want to own the cattle. I just want to own the semen.
Yeah. Well, but there's, as you're saying, there's a lot of money in that, right? And at the end of the day, it's because you're producing something that is, it's food, right? It's protein, it's beef.
Yeah.
And anybody that's been to the market over the past year has seen the price of beef just skyrocket. Same way they've seen the price of oil and even gold over the, if you look back over the past year and a half, you know, gold's gone up a fair amount too. If you enjoyed this clip, you can watch the full video it's from by clicking here.